Hi! It's been a while since I made a Navy video, and I'm making it on my computer, so I can already see it looks like it's lagging. Why is the video camera on a MacBook so crappy when a MacBook is so expensive? It makes no sense to me. This video is going to be about BAS, Bachelor Assisted Sustenance? I don't know. Google it. A lot of times in the Navy, you use acronyms and you know what it means, but you don't know what it stands for specifically. I used to care, and I always used to be like, what does that acronym stand for? And then the higher-ups would be like, I don't know. It's just what it is. So that's kind of the attitude I've taken. I don't really know, but I know what it is. When you join the Navy, you're going to go to boot camp, and after boot camp, you're going to go to A school, even if you don't have a rate. You'll go to A school for like a week to learn basic Navy stuff about corrosion, prevention, safety, etc., 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 whether you're going CPAC or APAC, which is not a rate. They tell you at the recruiting office that you can go in as the rate APAC, but it's undesignated. That's what that means. So be careful of that, because a lot of recruiters are trying to get you. If you go in as APAC or CPAC, you basically go in undesignated, and you cannot rank up. You cannot gain rank unless you have a rate. And they say you can strike for any rate that you like. Once you go in undesignated, you get to learn what you like and what you don't like. You have an idea of what kind of job you want, and then you can just take the test and get that rate. No, not always, because the job that you want is probably not going to be available. You're probably going to get boatswain's mate, maybe MA. Like the most needed rates in the Navy right now are BM, any AB rate, ABE, ABF, ABH, and MA, which are like the cops. Anyhow, that's not BAS. When you join, you will get BAS on your LES, leave and earnings statement. There will be BAH and BAS, and your earnings are split into categories that you can look at on MyPay. You do not get a pay stub in the mail. It's all on the computer. And when you first join, you basically get that allotment, but then you get it taken right out. So now this may not be how it is for everyone, because there is a written instruction, which means like a law in the Navy that you are supposed to follow. But each command does things a little differently, and they implement their own things and kind of manipulate the instruction to the way they want it. So BAS, in my experience, is this. However, don't think that it can't change a little depending on where you go. If you're in training or if you're in school, A school mostly, because I knew someone in C school that got their BAS. So personally, I would get my leave and earnings statement and I would look at it. It would say BAS $384. I think a few years ago, even 5 years ago, it used to be like $260. But BAS was, for me, was $380, I think. $380. So I would see that given to me, and then I would see it taken away, because if you're in boot camp, you eat at the galley, that's all you're eating. You do not need sustenance, because they're giving you laundry detergent, they're giving you toilet paper, they're giving you toiletries, toiletries, food, everything that you need. So for you to pocket that BAS makes no sense, because you're using all of RTC's things. Who keeps calling me? No caller ID? I don't answer. I screen my phone calls. Thank you. So you don't get your BAS. When I mean get, I mean pocket that. You don't handle that money personally. So you technically get it, but it gets taken right back out. In A school, I had to pay for my own laundry detergent, my own everything, and my own food if I wanted to go out, because we did have that freedom. But the galley was available to us, and we worked during the operating hours of the galley, so they still did not give us our BAS. I mean, it was allotted to us, but then it was taken away. So then when I got to C school, because I was still in schooling, I did not get my BAS. However, I was on hold to class up in C school for 4 months. So was one of my A school classmates. We ended up getting the same platform. For those of you who don't know what that means like the same, like aircraft, like platform, what you work at. Oh, a voicemail. Maybe I'll call them back if they leave information. He went TAD to his squadron, to his platform, to his people. He worked at the command he was going to end up at, but temporarily, because he was going to go to C school, but that didn't start for 4 months. So he was at his command. I showed up, and I was on hold, and I played Monopoly all day. Like, I didn't do anything because my command is on the West Coast. There are 2 commands like ours, 2 COD commands, C2A Greyhounds. There's VRC 30 and VRC 40. He was 40 on the East Coast, I'm 30 on the West Coast. But the C school for that is on the East Coast. So while he was at his command doing his thing waiting, I was there just rotting away. So he ended up getting his BAS because they put him on a night schedule. And when you get put on a night schedule, you do not work during the normal operating hours of the galley. Therefore, they need to give you your BAS so that you can eat elsewhere, because they know that you can't eat at the galley because your working hours are not while the galley is open. Can you dig it? So he ended up then classing up with me in C school, and he was still getting his BAS because you just don't say anything, and then they just keep giving it to you, and he just keeps eating on his own with his money. But because I was technically still a student status, I never ever went anywhere else but a student status. I was not getting my BAS, and he was. So he was in C school getting BAS, and I was in C school not getting BAS. But typically in A school, you will not ever get BAS because you are a student. Unless you are a fleet returnee, blah, blah, blah. There's stipulations and exceptions to everything. So then I get to my command, the place of your work, your platform. I'm a C2A Greyhound girl. That's my platform. My command is VRC 30. That's where I go for work every day. And I'm on day shift. So I put in, some people are like, well, maybe you can get BAS because the flight schedule, like the planes take off at different times every day, and you can't always be there for a man up on a bird. I'm trying not to talk in Navy terms, but whatever, you'll get it. So maybe we can get BAS for you because you can't make it to the galley all the time, because the galley is only open from 11 to 12:30, but if you have to man up a bird at that time, we can't let you leave to chow. So I was hoping to get BAS. Filed a chit. In order to get BAS, just like my friend from A school did, in order to get your BAS, that means to pocket it, because you always get BAS, but whether it gets taken back out automatically by the Navy or whether you get to pocket that, you need to submit a chit, a BAS chit, because when you get to your command, one of the first things they will do while you check in, and now this is if you are single sailor. If you're married, if you've got dependents, you've been getting BAS, BAH, you've been getting the whole shebang because you do. Okay, I'm talking about like just a regular old single sailor, which I was. I submitted a chit, which is like a request form. You have to file this paperwork, do the chit, I respectfully request to receive BAH, the reason why, da-da-da, you put it in this blue folder and you march it around. It goes all the way up your chain of commands, and the CO, the skipper, the main man in charge of your command, stamps it yes or no. And if he stamps it yes or no, then it goes someplace else, and da-da-da-da. Anyhow, my BAS was denied. Bam! Denied. Everyone was like, that's so dumb. Everyone gets BAS. Blah, 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 blah. So I ended up, what happens is when you first get to your command, you get, and check in, you'll get a meal card. For us, they were little orange cards that let you eat at the galley, and you would show that meal card at the galley and you would eat for free because that is all you had. You don't get money to eat anywhere because they're taking your BAS, so you eat at the galley, and that's your thing, that's your meal card. So I would keep showing up with my meal card, and I never ate at the galley. I paid out of my own pocket, BAS or no BAS, because the galley is absolutely disgusting. So I would get my $384 taken out. I would never ever see it, but I was paying for my own food anyway. I never went to the galley. I mean, I tried it a couple times and made myself ill, and then I just never went to the galley. So I was double paying for my food because I couldn't get BAS. It's so stupid, but whatever. Then they were like, here's what a lot of people do. They request to go on nights. Night shift will usually get their BAS because they work at the hours of operation that the galley is not usually open. Can you dig it? And so they understand you're not going to be awake when the galley is open, you're not going to be functioning, so they understand they'll give you your BAS, whatever. So a lot of people in the Navy go on night shift, submit their BAS chit, respectfully request to receive BAS because I work nights and such and such and such, and it usually gets approved, and then they get the allotment. They have to go to PSD, which is Personnel Support Department, or I don't know, another acronym that no one knows what it stands for, but I'm sure people know what it stands for, but we all know what it is. PSD, the admin of the Navy, the people that handle your money, okay? So you get your chit approved. It goes all over the chain of command. The CO is like, yeah, bam, approved. You're on nights. You need this money. So then you take your little chit and you go to PSD and you're like, hi, I'm submitting a BAS chit approved thing and I need this approved type thing. And then they sit you down and they type it up all up on the computer, and then you give them your meal card, and then they cut up your meal card because you can't eat at the galley for free anymore, but some people keep their meal card and they keep going to the galley because galley doesn't always check, and you're supposed to turn in your meal card. And then in a couple weeks, your BAS kicks in and you start getting your... I even had to take my BAS approval chit to PSD. Then I had to take it to the actual building where the CO of the base is and get it signed by the CMC of the base. Like, it went so far up the chain and back down to me for me to even receive my BAS. Okay? So that's what a lot of people do. However, I don't know if it's because the Navy got poor or whatever happened at my commands, but as of recent, they were like, okay, everyone, if you went on nights and got BAS, but then you eventually in a year or so moved back to days, and you still live in the barracks and you're just a single airman, we're taking that BAS back because you're on days now. You don't need it. So they yanked everyone's BAS that was on day shift, even if they've been getting BAS for the last 3 years. Because they were on day shift, they yanked their BAS. And that was upsetting for a lot of people because a lot of people grew to live their lives with that extra $384 a month, and they planned their finances around that. And it wasn't necessarily a guarantee because it's supposed to be for food, but a lot of people wouldn't spend all that $384. They would pocket it, they would make it a car payment, or they would do whatever they wanted with it, but then they got it taken away because they worked on days. So a lot of people were like, can I go on nights? Can I go on nights? Because if you were on nights, you were safe with that BAS. Can you dig it? But my command decided to yank everyone's that was on days. But I have a lot of friends in a lot of different commands, and their commands did not do that. Mine did. So it depends on your command, it depends on your CO, it depends. And that's what BAS is. So in order to start getting that money, you will, whatever command you end up at, have to file a chit asking to receive it. and you have to have a valid reason to receive it. So if you're disappointed that you ended up on nights, be happy because chances are you'll get your BAS. Did I leave anything out? It's 15 minutes long. That's about BAS. I have to check to see who called me because if it was work and I need to answer, then I need to call them. So I hope you enjoyed the video about BAS. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I will answer the question. A lot of people that are in the Navy watch my videos and they can help answer the question. Some answers I may not know, etc., etc., etc. Goodbye.